What's up, guys, and welcome back to the educational series that we're doing here on some of the top cryptocurrencies in the space. Today, focusing on one of the hottest cryptos out there, Ripple XRP. And I say hottest because it is about to turn and burn in 2023 after the slide it has experienced since the, I believe, 2020 ruling, or not ruling, but SEC lawsuit against Ripple, allegedly listing XRP as a security or using it to raise money and with expectation of value. Whatever it is, it's been a long time. This court case is kind of drawn out and I think really exhausted a lot of people, but we're finally getting to the end of it here. And I think it's time for this case to end. We've gotten a little bit of a preliminary understanding of where the SEC and Ripple are at in this case from Judge Torres, as well as, the overall potential outcome, which might be incredibly favorable for Ripple. And the SEC might lose. We're going to talk about a little bit of that and some of the news and what my price prediction is going to be for Ripple going into the rest of this year, as well as into 2024 and 2025. And I think this is, the couple weeks that it could happen, it's a very tense time. And at any point, this lawsuit can end. We could have a ruling by the judge, and this whole market could turn around because of Ripple. At the same time, the SEC could set the whole industry back potentially years in terms of getting jurisdiction over the space and being able to claim certain cryptos or a lot of cryptos as securities. So very important time. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about Ripple XRP. So for anyone that isn't familiar with Ripple, I'm going to give a little bit of an overview like I have done with the others. So just bear with me. So Ripple Labs is the technology company that owns Ripple XRP. They aim to transform the way money moves globally by leveraging blockchain technology. Ripple's main product is a payable protocol called RippleNet, which enables instant, secure, and low-cost international money transfers. RippleNet uses a digital asset called XRP, which is used as a bridge currency for cross-border transactions, as well as a means of payment for settlement and liquidity. XRP is a digital currency that was created by Ripple Labs for this purpose. It's open source, decentralized, and is used on the Ripple network to facilitate these fast and low-cost international money transfers and remittances. Unlike Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies, XRP is not designed to be a store of value or a means of exchange for goods and services. Instead, it serves as a liquidity tool for banks and financial institutions that use RippleNet for cross-border payments, and anyone that understands Ripple and XRP understands that this is the case. This is the reality. But the SEC disagrees, and this is where the lawsuit comes in. So in recent years, in the last couple of years more specifically, XRP has faced several regulatory challenges, with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, filing a lawsuit against Ripple Labs in the end of 2020. I was right about the year, alleging that XRP is a security and that Ripple Labs had conducted an unregistered securities offering. Bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. The case is ongoing, and its outcome may have significant implications for the future of XRP, which is true, and the broader cryptocurrency industry, which is why it is such an important fucking time. Let's go. Let's talk about some of the use cases for Ripple. They're very simple and straightforward for financial institutions, businesses, governments. I don't know what's more outside of that. People. Well, what's more other than financial institutions, businesses, and governments? People, small businesses, foundations, money remittance companies like MoneyGram and Western Union. I don't know, but pretty much everybody. In the realm of cross-border payments, and being able to enhance those payments with real-time settlements, liquidity management, and access to working capital. Crypto liquidity, through leveraging all-in-one platforms to access crypto liquidity to power payments, treasury operations, and more. And CBDCs are favorite in this space. They have the ability to implement a scalable, secure, and sustainable central bank digital currency that meets the high security standards of central banks. This is all taken directly from the Ripple website. They have a number of active partnerships. There's a lot more than this, but I'm just going to name a few that are important to keep in mind. Some of these are new, and some of these have been going on a long time. These include Bank of America in the United States, Induslind Bank. I hope I'm saying some of these right, but who fucking cares at this point? Banco Rendimento, Centbi, SBI Remit, Lemonway, Modular, Tranglo. Anyways, some big companies, some big names, some big brands here actively working with Ripple Labs on these use cases that we talked about. A lot of them in cross-border payments, and then with the banks, once we get up to the central bank level, to the government level with CBDCs more primarily, which is the other thing to talk about. The unspoken active partnerships, because they're not formalized just yet. But these are the type of central bank communications that exist between Ripple and these entities. The Federal Reserve obviously is one of them. They've been in discussions with Ripple for a very long time, working on the FedWire program, on new options to replace SWIFT, which is happening this month, guys, in about 2 weeks, and many other initiatives. This includes the Bank of England, the European Central Bank, Bank of Canada, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, as well as others. They are probably the one cryptocurrency or protocol, Ripple Labs as a company, startup in the space that's out there that has this many connections. And this is not all of them. This is just some of them to highlight. But it has the most connections with the legacy financial system at a very deep and ingrained level. And that can be either very scary or very exciting, depending on how you want to look at it. But for the crypto space, having a crypto that's that integrated, that's been around for like 10 years now, that has these relationships and this pull, it's going to do nothing but help the crypto space. Whether or not you like Ripple, and this is always, a big talking point, they're good for the space. They're forcing regulation legislation to happen. They're going through it themselves on behalf of every other crypto protocol and blockchain out there, as well as fighting in the trenches against the SEC. And if they win, we all fucking owe them a big thanks. So we should be all rooting for Ripple at this point to win. On the darker side of things, CBDCs are very scary, and Ripple offers actually very sound and fundamental infrastructure for governments and central banks, for the Federal Reserve to potentially use in the future. They even have a whole step-by-step process listed on their website for anyone that's curious as to how they go about that. And I'll kind of run through that really quickly. But again, this is on Ripple's website. You can find it. It's all public information. But step one, for onboarding, they have standard APIs that enable integration of CBDC platforms into existing systems. They have, for step two, the ability to mint, where banks can use a CBDC platform, cryptographic multi-sign controls to mint CBDCs, to create a digital dollar, to create a digital yuan, if China wanted to. I don't think China would ever, but any other country, a digital euro, digital pound, whatever it may be. Step three, being able to distribute. Issuers can directly send CBDCs to authorized accounts, ensuring only valid participants can receive and hold the CBDCs. Step four, you can transact. Transactions settle in 2 to 3 seconds. I'm going through something right now where I'm trying to send money to Colombia for the billionth time, because I live in Colombia, but I'm from the US, and I have to wire money down here because most of my money is still made in the US. And it takes at least 4 business days for me to get the money. Like, unless I want to do a wire through my bank and pay like $50 and a horrendous exchange fee every single time, then it takes me like 4 business days. And that's using a remittance company like Raya. And I like Raya. They're very good, but it's insane. Why do I have to wait 4 business days in 2023 to get my money to my own account? I'm not even sending it to someone else. I'm sending it to myself. And it's the billionth time I've done it. So it's like, and it's not even that much. We're talking about like $1,200. I'm not sending like 50 grand. You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But Ripple and other cryptocurrencies out there have this ability to send very quickly and settle very quickly. Ripple can do it in 2 to 3 seconds. And I've seen them do it live, which is incredible. This is not new for them. But this allows them to enable crypto asset and cross-border transactions when connected to another CBDC, a very important step. Step 5, the ability to redeem. Participants can return funds on the CBDC platform to the issuer in exchange for fiat. And step 6, destroy. The CBDC platform supports and secures destruction of a currency, giving the bank full control over supply. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the tools go through the roof. You know, in the right hands, this could be very handy for a very complex economy like the US economy, for example. But in the wrong hands, this could be very destructive, very manipulative, very invasive in our lives. This is why CBDCs are scary. And if you haven't watched Jerome Powell in his 2 days talk on Capitol Hill with the Senate and with the House about this stuff, he talked about CBDCs, their stance on crypto and digital assets. Check it out. It's very interesting. He's not very pro-crypto, but he's not very anti-crypto either. But it's important to get the remarks of what the Fed's thinking, what they want to do. And this brings into light ISO20022. Again, we talked about this with Stellar, which also applies to Hedera Hashgraph and another of others. We talked about Hedera and Stellar already. But the number one most compliant cryptocurrency, second being Stellar, but the number one most compliant is Ripple, XRP. And ISO 20022, again, is important because it is going to replace the legacy SWIFT messaging standard for the first time and allow banks to start using crypto and blockchain. Specifically, they will be able to use immediately Ripple and Stellar. That's going to be very fascinating starting 2 weeks from now. And the fact that Ripple is about to potentially wrap up their case with the SEC is incredible, impeccable timing. Just my opinion. So what is ISO 20022? Again, if you've already seen this, I apologize, but this is for the people that are at this video for the first time. So let's just go through it really quickly. ISO 20022 is a global standard for financial messaging that aims to standardize the format and content of electronic data exchange between financial institutions. It provides a common language and syntax for financial messages, enabling interoperability between different systems and reducing complexity and costs associated with multiple message formats. It is designed to support a wide range of financial transactions, including payments, securities, trade finance, foreign exchange, many others. You get the point. The standard is managed by the ISO, International Organization of Standardization. Again, we laughed at this last time. An organization for standardizing things in collaboration with the financial industry, and it is widely adopted by banks, financial market infrastructures, and corporations around the world. The adoption of ISO 20022 is expected to increase efficiency, reduce errors and risk, and enhance transparency in financial transactions starting in March of 2023, literally 2 weeks. I think it's like the 20th or so of March. So it's coming. It's coming. Some recent news for Ripple. Judge Analisa Torres issues an initial ruling. Like I mentioned before, they gave an initial understanding of what's going to happen and what they've came to conclude. And to kind of give you a brief overview, so they didn't fully side with the SEC or Ripple as of yet, but they allowed Ripple to remove I believe it's a lawyer, a key witness for the SEC, their number one leading lawyer or witness on this given ruling, this given trial. And that's incredibly beneficial for Ripple. And the SEC tried to block the same, I think it was Deaton. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it was Deaton from being able to testify on behalf of Ripple, and the judge shut down the SEC. So it's not looking good for the SEC's ruling, for this ruling right now. The SEC might not fully lose, but they're not going to likely win on the grounds that XRP is a registered security. That is the only thing that matters in this whole fucking case, is whether or not the SEC wins on that paramount reason, because it'll affect all of crypto. And it looks like they're going to lose that argument. That is why Ripple is up right now. It's been moving the last couple days, like 4, 5, 6%. I think they're going to win. It's going to be a photo finish, but I think they might win in one way or another, more ways than others. Other news, Ripple partner tapped by Western Union for cross-border payments in Africa. There's a crypto whale that bought 300 million XRP. Things are starting to get hot. They're boiling. Over 50% of global universities will embrace blockchain, crypto, Web3, and XRP and ODL in core businesses by 2025. According to, I believe, someone that worked with Ripple. That's a little bit biased for news, but, if they're right and they're getting that integrated, that's a large, diverse market right there by 2025 where they could be integrated. It's hard to find news strictly on Ripple and on XRP right now other than trade analysis and price predictions, which is what everyone wants, but this is kind of what is out there. Ripple's done a million different things, but the whole focus is on the case right now. So that's why there isn't more news to really highlight. But in terms of price predictions, I'm going to tell you mine. And again, these are just my own. Please do your own due diligence. Don't trade off of this. This is just my opinion. This is a first glance look. I'm not doing any kind of advanced trade analysis here. I'm just looking at where it's been, where it is now, and where it can go. That is it. The volume hasn't come back yet, but the sentiment is starting to come back. And if we win this case, Ripple wins this case with the SEC, we're likely going to see an uptrend start once again for Ripple. But it's got to get listed back on exchanges too. That could also be a process that hinders the price a little bit. So what I'm thinking is, immediately when this happens, the SEC case could end tomorrow. It could end December 31st of 2023. But it will likely end this year. There's no reason for it not to. Like, the verdict is nearly in at this point. So it's going to happen at any time now, and nobody knows when. I do think that immediately when it happens, we're going to see Ripple move to about 50 cents. That is just based on other barriers that it's had an issue getting through. And I don't know if the lawsuit's going to wrap up tomorrow or at the end of the year, but by the time it does wrap up, I think we'll move pretty quickly up to about 50 cents. Now, looking at historical highs that even predate the TradingView website, I remember when Ripple first went to $3.50 and it was still a baby. So with ISO20022 compliance coming into play and that becoming the new messaging standard in the world and all these banking partnerships and having them vocal, even supporting XRP, like Bank of America, for example, saying, we're on standby. If XRP wins, we're ready to work with them. Like, they're ready. Like, they're waiting. Like, this is a decade in the works for Ripple. If that happens and we're entering a bull cycle, I don't see why XRP can't immediately run towards 350 again. I think that's very reasonable. Now, in the recent couple of years, in the last bull run in 2021, we got close to $2. But I think with these partnerships and the alignment of the framework for banks to touch it now and to use it with an actual use case or with pilot programs or to put out a product, I think 350 is very tangible in 2024. Again, I don't know. That's very ambitious for this year, but I think between this year and the end of 2024, we will see 350 again. I'd be shocked. Now, that's a very big move and a very big jump. So I think in 2025, there will be some pullbacks, and I think the price will settle a little bit as we kind of conclude getting into that bull market. Maybe it settles at $3.75. Maybe it peaks out or $4 or $5 first. But I do see Ripple being, clearly over $1 for the rest of its lifespan, as long as it gets through this and the SEC fucks off till the end of time on the securities issue. So there's a lot of things at play. Again, this is just an eyeglass look, looking at historical numbers, looking at the reality, stepping back and saying what is possible. And I think this is possible. I think 50 cents is rationally, in play here. Again, do your own due diligence. This is not trading advice. This is just education. If you like this video, please comment your thoughts down below and subscribe. We'll do these as often as we can in between doing the podcast. Really appreciate all your guys' support. This is for you. I get really not much out of this other than the fact that I'm learning too as we go. And I want to build an incredible channel, and I want to have you guys on this journey with me, and I want to see where we can take it. So please subscribe. The support really helps. And like and comment your thoughts. Let me know what you want to hear about next, and talk to you guys soon.